For our first quick fire, the UK government publishes details of unclaimed estates belonging to 58 dead Nigerians in the United Kingdom. A list of unclaimed estates and properties belonging to a total of 5,806 individuals who resided and died in the UK, including 58 Nigerians, was released. And the details of all of this is alarming because it brings us to the fact that do men generally don't like giving information to their partners, their family members, and all of that? Because 58 out of 58 names, about 70% of it were men. Men who, acquired all of this properties, acquired all of this, good things. Now, the UK government would have to find a way to, take these properties away because no one is claiming them, because even the family members don't know about this thing. So let's talk about it. When is it a problem for a man to keep away, certain details from family members and their partners? Frank?
Well, you don't know the situation. Maybe he's a polygamist and he is trying to, some men try to acquire some property. You can't tell your partner everything. And I am all for it, but only that when it becomes terminal, your life becomes terminal, what happens to the property? So you should have a will somewhere.
Okay.
There should be a will. You can't just leave it floating and feel you're going to live forever. It's not going to happen now. So the thing is, some men like playing some cards close to their chest, and I understand why. Because if you open all your cards to your partner, yes, see finish now. See finish. They've everything. They know everything about you. There's no mystery. You have to hold, but you have to hold some mystery. But to back it up, you have to put that thing down in a will.
Yeah, in a will.
You know, so that your lawyers can execute when you kick the bucket.
Okay. So do you agree that it's see finish?
He couldn't have said it better. I mean, see, people do different things for different reasons. There are, certain individuals who believe that you shouldn't, as he said, be 100% transparent with your partner. You should retain some level of, call it mystery.
Mystery.
Yeah. But there are also other people who do it because they have ulterior motives.
Like what type of ulterior motives?
Well, people buy properties in their names that they had the intention of maybe giving to a side piece.
Or they go with Hakimi.
Exactly.
He's the hero.
So they use a proxy, for stuff that they don't want people. They don't want full disclosure on for reasons best known to them. But what surprises me is that real estate in the UK isn't cheap.
Yeah, exactly.
So we're talking about people who are educated. We're talking about people who are exposed. Which is why the fact that there were no legal documents, right?
Yeah.
Stating clearly.
No next of kin, nothing.
That after they pass, this is who this property should go to.
Yeah.
Is shocking.
Don't you really think that's lonely? They must have lived a lonely life.
Not necessarily. Some people are just careless. Not necessarily. So I'll give you an example. I was having a conversation, I remember, about 2 years ago in Ghana with a bunch of people you would call high-value individuals, business owners, accomplished people in their fields. And we're talking about this issue of writing a will, and it alarmed me how much superstition people attached to it.
Superstition,
if you write it, that means you are ready. You are ready to go. That's what.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
And because there is no telling when any of us will go, the risk you're running is super high. Because if it happens, this is exactly what it turns to. Something you labored for. That a relative should be benefiting from now goes back to the government or goes into the hands of people that you don't care for. You don't know. I don't know you don't care for you. And that's just tragic.
So there's a lesson there.
Big lesson.
No matter what the situation is, you should always prepare.
You should always prepare, especially if you have assets and all that. You should always prepare.
And sometimes the reason people don't do it is because they undervalue the assets they have. So there are people who have land in Mowe, Ibafu, and all these parts.
And they think
that it's nothing. Why should I go and ride a wheel because I have land in where my mates have land in Banana Island? You know, they think it's shameful. They think, oh, I haven't acquired enough, you know, to be riding a wheel.
So let me try and stack.
They don't value those things.
That property that you don't value now, in 5-15 years time, is worth way more. So it really doesn't make sense.
Exactly.
If you own it, even if it's a HB pencil, you should write a wheel for it.
Yeah, HB pencil.
Well, I want to
probably a marker, maybe not HB.
I want to look at it from the point of the banks. Do you understand?
Okay.
Because one example, I had a friend in Port Harcourt some years ago the family lost their dad, and lucky for them, he had about 6 bank accounts. They were going to these banks and telling them a couple of things, and the banks were telling them they needed to provide death certificates and certain information.
Yes, exactly.
They needed to provide things from the mortuary to say the guy's cause of death and so many things. So the bank was refusing to release any funds. Lucky for them, they had the guy's cards and knew his pins. So for the accounts they had access to, they literally used to go to ATM machines then. This thing I'm telling you is like in 2010.
So withdraw money.
They'll withdraw, wait till midnight, and withdraw the full limit. Do you understand?
For real?
That was how they
For
were able
the day?
to. Yes, that's how they were able to pay school fees and have a life to live. There were some accounts they couldn't have access to, and the banks were very stubborn about it. I'm coming from the bank angle because I feel banks, and there was something you said, next of kin.
Yeah.
People don't know that your next of kin is not a benefactor.
It's not a benefactor.
Exactly.
It's not.
Your next of kin is actually just an emergency contact.
Yes.
Somebody that they should call. So if you have a next of kin and you think the bank is going to reach out to anybody, banks should actually start actively doing that. What banks do is that after a couple of months, your account becomes dormant. Do you understand? And after a couple of months again,
But is that ethically right? Because
see, that's why people don't read the terms and conditions when you're signing things to a bank and whatever. The bank doesn't have to call anybody. The money will become theirs. I think they should put a law where banks have to reach out to these families before making decisions and saying we now own it and say this is what's happening. We've heard this person is dead. We've done our research. Is there a will? Is there this? Is there that? Can you guys provide any evidence? This is how much is left. You get where I'm coming from? For some strange reason, just to toss this in, not to deviate, Abacha keeps giving us money almost every year. And he died when? The Swiss banks just wake up one morning and realize there's a $300 million and they notify Nigeria and tell Nigerians that this is what's happening. Why can't that apply that to individuals and reach out and say, there's this amount that's with us?
Exactly.
You understand? That way, people would trust that bank more and keep banking with them.
Okay.
The government does have records of unclaimed dividends and bank accounts.
The government?
Yeah, the Nigerian government. The banking system does have these records.
They do. They do.
They know,
but they don't reach out to the families.
They don't because there's no, like you said, there's no...
there's no incentive.
There's no law in place.
Enforcing that law. And then to them, there's really no incentive because if nobody claims it, it becomes theirs.
And
so
there's even fraud that happens based on dormant accounts.
Exactly, yes. You know, that's what I want to talk about. There's the video that came out sometime last week of this guy who says he's been out of the country for about 15 years and he had this, fixed deposit, over 20 million. And, it was in this bank. I'm not going to mention the name of the bank. It's a very popular bank.
What the heck? Just mention. Oh, wow. Oh, wow.
Okay.
I don't need to persuade you much.
He got back into the country and then he tried to withdraw his money and all of that. And then realized that over the years, a particular amount of money had been taken out of his account. And, it was so many questions being pushed here and there, without answers being received. And it really says a lot about how processes need to be improved on. Because if it's a fixed account, then no one should have access to it.
Well, ideal versus reality.
Ideal versus reality, yes.
The banking system, the biggest fraud ever.
Wow. No, you are talking banking system.
It's not just the banking system.
Insurance is the biggest fraud.
Why do you say so?
Because insurance, the way they take, the speed at which they take your money, they don't use that speed to give you the money when something happens. Insurance is the biggest fraud. That's what I see. I get aggravated by the insurance companies. You see all of them, the marketing salespeople, all coming to you as if you were the mother bee. They're all swarming around you to get. Once they get it, once something happens to your car, or if is it life insurance, they now start telling you to pull out documents, bring and everything. They have leaflets for you to show them and everything. You're going.
Just so they don't pay you.
Just so they will just delay it. And, you know, it's very frustrating.
That's frustrating, yeah.
It's very frustrating.
Wow.
At least pensions are better, but insurance, no. Exasperating.
Hopefully, with all the things we've discussed right now, the right parties can hear this and
they're
not listening.
No, they hear it. No, the thing is that they
find solutions.
They hear it, but they don't listen. That's it.
All right, so we take a quick break. When we return, we'll focus on our main topic for tonight, and hopefully we'll find answers to that one.
Yes.
All right, we'll take a break. We'll see you shortly.